I like that we get to introduce Mr. Masengill on with our Champagne Sundays music,
cool.
our Pop of the Cork. I'm over there in his side of the country in the Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee. When you hear a pop, that means a distill.
It's a jug.
The still is popping for some moonshine. Ralph Masengill, we call him Mr. Change Agent here on Big Blend Radio. He's one of our experts, and he is the author of Conquer, Change, and Win, an easy-to-read, fun book on the serious subject of change, and it's in its second printing now. So that means we get more champagne.
Awesome.
I know. He's joining us here on Big Blend Radio's Champagne Sunday show today to talk to us about the change. We're going through a life change.
Wow.
Not going through life changes at the same time. Now, we're getting ready to go on our Love Your Parks tour, where we'll be on the road full-time for the rest of our lives. As long as we possibly can go, we're going to go and document all of America's parks. And you can keep up with that if you go to loveyourparkstour.com. It's a brand-new website showing our different parks. But also keep up with Ralph. Go to conquerchangeandwin.com. Welcome back, Mr. Change Agent. How are you?
Ladies, I am terrific, and it is so good to hear both your voices again. You ladies are inspiring, and I've never seen two people with more energy.
It's the champagne bubbles.
It's the bubbles.
That's why we need bubbles, you know.
I'm trying to keep this simple.
Oh,
I'm not trying to tell everything.
Well, I know. And we're so glad you're here on the show with us to talk about the Love Your Parks tour because you understand change more than anyone, and you are the Mr. Change Agent expert. And to talk with you about this, there couldn't be anyone more perfect for this conversation today, and we really appreciate that. And congratulations, the second printing is a big deal, and so we're rooting for the third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
Well, so am I.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds great to me. Well, how are you folks getting ready to handle all this change that's coming up?
Beyond the champagne?
Beyond the champagne and the margarita.
Well, you actually can't have that much champagne if you're going to take this on. So we're handling. We've had some moments of panic, and then we have to sit down and go, okay, well, what's your plan? So it's not as freaky as when we first did it. You know, the first phase one, when we said, okay, we're going to do this, and we kind of like this. What's crazy about this one is we decided to go a month earlier to Yuma, but that's actually a good thing for us because it gives us our tour legs again, and if we need to adjust things of what we're carrying, and you know, it's like if you're going on a marathon backpacking trip. As soon as no matter what you do about packing that backpack, as soon as you hit the trail, you know you've got to make some changes. So I think even though we've put a little bit more stress on us, it's going to be a good thing, right, Nancy?
Sure.
Do you feel that?
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun, and we've done it before, and now I think we have educated ourselves as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
We're still going to have a whole lot more to learn, but at least we're a little bit there as opposed to the first time.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, I'm going to tell you something that I sincerely believe. I think you folks are just really perfect for this position. You enjoy traveling, and you are extremely interested in everything. And one of the things that always impresses me about you two ladies is your inner confidence and your outer ability to know facts. You folks are real good at that. You need to be aware of what your solid positives are, and that's just two of many.
Well, thank you.
Well,
thank you for that. We appreciate that. We need all the confidence we can get and support. Well, you know, when we look at this, it is about being very realistic, and sometimes that is a tough pill to swallow. Like we sit down and go, okay, well, it's about we're completely breaking routine and going 100% on change. That's what the tour is. Yet you're building a new inner routine. Yeah, you're still building a routine, but change is your constant.
Well, that's the point is, and the key word I believe is building. Because building causes very solid change. And it's up to us to decide whether it's positive or negative by our, most of the time, our attitude.
Yeah.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when something looks negative, you can turn it into a positive.
Absolutely.
You really can. You really can.
And I know in my life, a couple of things that I thought were absolute disasters turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me.
It's like getting lost and discovering a whole new town that wasn't on the map, I swear.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that, but don't forget what change is all about. And change is an emotion, and 90% of the people in the United States have no clue about this constant emotion that we all go through. Sometimes it's greater or lesser, but it's constant. It happens all the time, and you would think that we would be, well, I've been there, done that, but it never, ever gets to be routine. It just doesn't.
But that's what makes it interesting.
Yeah, and that's I think Nancy and I know when we said when we came off the road, okay, we're going to go get a small place, so that we really needed to just hunker down on some extra production work that we had, created.
We had to build
all this footage, and we had to build, just the magazines and everything. We had to sit and rebuild our websites. We had a lot of work to do, and we said, okay, don't get too cozy. Let's get a small place. We had to buy furniture and everything again, but let's keep it small, because our thing is to get back on the road again. And if you get too cozy, then you start losing your goal and your passion. I will tell you this: when Nancy and I are not out traveling, doing exactly what we want, we're crabby and we're not happy people, and we end up being sucked into our computer and creating more work that we don't need instead of doing exactly what we're supposed to do.
I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Well, I like the way she dragged me into the crabby zone.
I'm just saying. It's about being honest. You can't make a change without being honest.
Well, that's all true, but I think that we all have to understand that there's one thing that change always makes certain we have, and it's a form of fear. And it is. Let me just tell you the definition one more time of change. It's doing something different, that's obvious. And all men and women regard all change, both good and bad change, with a feeling of loss, and that's what we're talking about. Examples would be remorse, or that pit of the stomach feeling, and that feeling of loss always, and always is a lot, create some form of anxiety, anger, or fear. There are no exceptions.
I've been through all of them. I hate to say it, but it's true. Even anger. It's like anger where you wouldn't get all snappy as normal, but you do go through this because now you're out of your little routine of how things should be, and then all of a sudden you're in this other side, and then it's like, uh-oh. I mean, even the fact, we have a new neighbor who is, she's taking our plants, and she knows about plants and permaculture, and she's the sweetest lady. And we give her our plants. We did them early so they don't start growing in places they need to be cut back, during spring. And then Nancy and I look at each other, and it's like we're going to cry. Those are our plants. We talk to them, and yet they're going to the best place. We couldn't have had it even, it's the most perfect situation, but we're going to cry. The fear comes, the car. When we leave, Ralph, suddenly car registration is renewal time. So you've got to go get emissions checked. You've got to do all these things. And if you don't get it done right now, you're going to have to come right back and start all over again. So you have this fear. I felt like I was going to the doctor, and I felt like if something goes wrong,
that's fear.
the tour is like delayed. You know what I mean? It's like having to get your passport in time for your trip. And then it gets lost.
Making sure it doesn't run out on the trip.
Oh yeah, that's true. Or you don't lose it. Done that. But
Yep.
Well,
we do
I've
go ahead.
if you let it go up to 6 months, they won't accept it. So your passport is always 6 months less than you think it is.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
absolutely true. It is really, really true. But yeah, we have always had a passport. It's something because you never know. You never know if someone says, "Come fly over here and cover our park." Okay, we don't want to be delayed.
And we lived in Africa, and sometimes you just got to get out.
Sometimes you have to get out. Yeah, exactly. But,
right.
Yeah, that's something I think that Nancy and I having had to leave countries, you get used to not hanging on to things, and I think that's part of change, Ralph, is the hanging on of stuff,
right.
and that is the hardest part. Like when you go through this change, you
Well,
want to hang on.
It is, and I think with a lot of effort, and if I worked extremely hard, I could come close to being a hoarder.
Uh-oh.
I have to get rid of stuff all the time, and I have to force myself to do it. If I haven't worn it, looked at it, or seen it in a year, it needs to go.
Yep.
Well,
it's true.
That's what I try to do.
It's a form of false security in some regard.
Yes.
Yes,
yes,
it's like
it
every
is.
time you feel secure when you have stuff about you.
Well, and it's yes, and people like me and all the others in the general way are always trying to be secure in the moment, and that's impossible. You cannot be secure in every moment. And we need to understand that we are, because we're human beings, we are all going to go through fear. And it's not a disgrace. It doesn't mean we're not solid. It doesn't mean that we're not pros. It does mean, and I think this is great news for all three of us, it just means you're human.
Well, and it's part of nature.
yeah.
Nature wants you to feel fear once in a while, just to remind you that you might have to run.
Yeah, and remember that acronym, false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real, which is we make up a whole lot of our fear. Now, fear's real. Don't misunderstand me. It's not a fantasy. But some of the fear we have is a fantasy. And we need to be able to discern between the two, and therein is where peace and joy and happiness come in.
It's the case of the what ifs.
Yep.
And the what ifs are it's a positive thing, because then you go, okay, what if? Then you write down the answers. Write down the answers, make your plan B, C, D.
Yep.
But if you don't get up and write these in the middle of the night, this will happen. And if you don't sit up, and write those answers down, you're not going to go to sleep. And then the what ifs breed like bunnies. Next thing you know, you've got what ifs on everything. I mean, what if I don't turn the light on? So, I mean, even last night before I went to bed, I had to do a meditate. Thank you, Michelle Pascal, an amazing meditation teacher, who's got a book on 10-minute meditations and all the way down to 10 seconds, how to clear your mind, because you start the what ifs. What if? And as soon as that comes in, I know you simmer down. Write it down. Focus on it.
But that's the what if game is it's a really good exercise. I know the very first time I decided I was going to go to Africa, and I was leading a tour and pretending I'd been before, and I had a million questions, and so did my family. Like, well, what if people find out you haven't been there? So then I started thinking, okay, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? What if that happens? And writing the answers down so I'd be prepared. And then it's like, what if I missed a question?
Yes, our minds are set up to look at possibilities, and everybody's possibilities get out of the right realm on a pretty regular basis. It depends. Some are not as good about it as others, but generally speaking, when we make an error, it is not the end of the world. We need to celebrate the fact that we can prove we're human.
I like that.
Mhm.
It's like musician Michael Franti. His T-shirt, his whole movement is saying "Stay human," and that's everything.
Yeah.
It's stay human, and that's a good thing to remember.
Well, I agree with all of that, and the key to this thing is how many people can you name? Don't name any, but how many people can you name, unless you want to? I'd like to down a few people, it'd be fine with me. Oh,
it's Sunday,
my sweet
Ralph.
personality just tainted itself. Oh dear me. But the real key to this is to know and I say the word again, that you're human, and everybody, yes, everybody makes errors.
Of course. Well,
and
leads us to why we did the second tour, because the first one, we were on the right path, but we wanted to only cover national park units because we worked so hard on all these shows of what was going on with parks and maintenance backlogs, all of these things. And we went on a trip to Florida and saw communities that were boarded up because of hurricanes, a lot of that, but also that the parks weren't publicized as much, and all of that. So we were like, well, this is it. Let's, the centennial of the park system's coming. Let's focus on national park units. And we decided to call it the Spirit of America Tour because America's best ideas. Well, there's other things that people say may be the best idea, but and I don't want to get into that drama because we've had a few goes on that.
That was the very first comment, and it struck home big time.
And it was too late.
Yep.
And but it's never too late, right? And so we went out. The very first thing that happened is we ended up in a national forest, and they're going, well, we don't even have enough rangers to collect the camping fees from the little camping boxes at the campsites. We have just as many issues as the National Park Service. And at the same time, remember the state parks almost closing. So we were like, okay. And then we looked at everything, and we've been to over 100 parks, well over 100 parks.
Of all kinds.
Of all
wow,
kinds.
That's terrific. That's a bunch, folks.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of traveling, and that's a lot of knowledge about parks.
Well, that's what we learned
it's a lot of fun.
There were a lot of different, because we wanted to connect the communities, and that meant we want to go to the other parks too and showcase them. And through that, we learned, Nancy and Lisa, you're wrong to only go in one way. All parks matter. Everybody, we have a new T-shirt called "All Parks Matter."
Gee, the first on your blog.
You get it. But that was our lesson, and we had to regroup. It took us 3 years to sit back here, do our production, and learn, and now have to turn around and even change a magazine name to correct our error from the beginning.
Well, and then one of the things that we learned quickly on was when the parks, be it national parks or state parks, close for whatever reason they may close, the community, if they've singled in on a national park and this is how we get our income in the tourism industry, they only think about that national park. Something happens in the park like a fire, oh my, the economy's dead for 2 years because they don't round up everything they have to offer. That's the biggest thing we saw, and the biggest lesson was don't just have one shining star. You need a whole galaxy of things. That way, if something's a little dim on this side, no matter, we have all these things over here. When you're looking at tourism.
It's looking at the whole.
Yeah.
And what we have a tendency to do, certainly I do on a regular basis, is what I like, somehow I believe everybody likes. And what I don't like, I believe nobody likes.
Oh,
but that's a
yeah.
fallacy. That's just absolutely, pardon me for admitting this, insane.
dangerous territory.
Don't you agree with that, Lisa?
It is insane, but I know that Nancy will go, I don't like this, I don't want to cover that. I'm like, but we have people that do like this, and we should cover it.
And
I don't care.
I know, I don't care.
And so we have that's where if everybody could just hear the internal conversations of how this radio show and magazine business runs, yeah, it's colorful.
It's extremely subjective. It's very subjective with objective information.
Yeah,
we
have to
weird.
keep each other in line and out of line. That's
well,
the balance.
I think everything you two ladies do, and I'm sincere, is excellent. There may be one little tiny thing, and it's called Priscilla. That may be
we can't mess with her.
Another. Yep. Well, I'm not so sure about that one, but never mind. It's just what it is.
Priscilla, our little pink sock monkey,
drinks rum.
She drank the moonshine. The whole gang. She has a gang, and like Nancy says, we can't call it gang, but she is a gang. She's got an entourage or a troop.
It's an entourage.
Yeah, an entourage of family members that have been adopted along the way. Or people just go, here, we don't want this monkey no more. We're giving it to you. And that's what happens. But we have an entourage. She has one. But she has learned, she decided to take on responsibility on this tour because she learned that she needs to be more than a pretty face to get around. I mean, her job is to be the face.
No, excuse me just a minute. I was talking about Priscilla.
I know, but
ugly.
She says she's the queen of style because we won't do the selfies and all that. She knows, and she's had style lessons from Diva Linda Kassam, travel writer. She has had, actually she's been to, fashion designers have talked to her. She's gone through schooling of style, and so she knows how to pose. We've seen some poses that we can't put in the magazine. Some people would like it. But now she has taken over the blog, the tour blog. And so far she's doing okay. She's not being too much of a diva, but she's taken this responsibility on. So she's going through a change called you can't be, just a pretty face. You have to work.
No free rides on this tour.
There's no free ride. So.
I must be somewhere I shouldn't be because I just don't see Priscilla like that. But that's just me. That doesn't mean I'm wrong or right. But if you don't like Priscilla, I don't either.
Oh, we love Priscilla. We do.
Oh,
Priscilla
okay.
she's a popular girl. Yeah, you'll like her. She's a very popular. We have to hide her from dogs and cats because they somehow want to eat her.
I can't imagine.
So there's some interesting times that come with it. She's very excited about the Smoky Mountains because she's got the taste for the shine, thanks to you sending her some. She really has the taste for it now. But we're excited about the Smoky Mountains in your region of East Tennessee, Ralph. You guys went through some wildfires, and we were talking about that before.
Yes.
How do you think this year is going to be in regards to the recovery and how the land is feeling and the people?
Well, the recovery's coming along well, but at the same time can't really put a rush on Mother Nature. And it's amazing what happens in the first 2 years. That's when you can really see it regenerating itself. And after a couple of years, it's just a matter of what's there growing some. But the park is beautiful right now, and it's about to get spring down here, and springtime in the Smokies is just terrific. And you come up to the Smokies and see all of the beautiful, beautiful flowers, the flowering trees, and enjoy our black bears. And they're not vicious. They have a place, and I can remember, and I'm talking and admitting I was a fool. But what I used to do many years ago come Choctaw, as Indians speak, as Native Americans speak, and what it amounts to is I used to feed wild black bears.
Mm-mm. All my park ranger friends are like slapping you over the phone.
They absolutely are, and they should be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I haven't done that in 50 years, but that'd make me 52, wouldn't it? Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
there you go.
Yeah.
I fed
But
a bear.
it's
Time for a life change, Ralph.
I fed a bear at 2 years old.
Oh, boy.
Well, if you could see from a distance, there's nothing prettier than to see a mama bear with a couple of cubs.
Yeah.
You don't
awesome.
want to get close, but I mean, stay in your car and keep the windows up. But that's a really, really wonderful sight.
Oh, that's going to be magic.
Yes, it really is fun. The dogwood trees are really coming back. Dogwood's a fairly fast growing tree, and they're really back. It's in a big way. But it is, you are going to have a ball down here, and anyone who comes to the Great Smokies, and of course we have over 2 million people come to the Smokies every year. We're the most visited park in the East.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the top in the country, one of the, in the top 10 always. And you've got the Appalachian Trail too. And I wanted to ask this because on the topic of change, we're going through a big life change. It's a business change. Everything of how we do, we have to change routines. But it's not as bad as before because again we've maintained some of our rhythm of being not having. We don't even have a printer in our business because you don't have one on the road. Why should you start? So we have certain things that you have to run sleek and simplify. But when you go through a big change in business and personal, it's a big deal. But when you go through something like wildfires, like how do you think it is that your communities handled it so well? Because I remember you sending me articles, we've talked about it on the shows, about moving forward and handling this change of this part of the forest has now changed and it affected communities. Is it about having a plan of action and working together and moving forward fast that makes the change bearable?
Well, first of all, and I am talking here about the rangers and the government, the folks from the Department of the Interior, you've got to have a solid, workable plan. Not something a bureaucrat puts together, but put together by rangers and put together by the real experts in the Smokies. And that was what happened.
That's awesome.
And because we had a solid plan and we had rangers that would enforce that plan, and I don't mean in a powerful way, but they stuck to the plan, and it really has made a significant difference. It's amazing what you can do when you've got a community of people who want it to work. And this is the case in East Tennessee with the Great Smoky Mountains and the parts of North Carolina that it's in. These folks were gung-ho as well.
I think it really, when you have educated people in the field, on the ground, who know their job, they know what they're doing. They know about the animals. They know about the trees. They know about the visitor traffic. When you have real solid information, now you have a solid plan. And it has to come from the bottom and work its way up. It cannot come from the top. Somebody at the very top with no info cannot tell in good conscience, make a smart plan and tell everybody else what to do. It cannot happen. It has to come from knowledge at the base. Has to.
that is so wise. It is absolutely true. And if you get somebody who can't delegate at the top, you've got a horror story getting ready to happen. By the way, the head ranger just been appointed here at the Smokies is Lisa Hindy. The first time it's ever been a lady.
Yay!
Awesome.
Champagne toast to her.
See, it's that Lisa name.
That Lisa, and she's cool, man. I love that. And the more to see more women, as rangers, I think it's excellent. We've met a few. I mean, as superintendent, we met the one in Pinnacles National Park. She's since moved on to another park. Karen Dorn Beppler. She was amazing to learn, and she came from the police side of park rangers, and that's something we've been learning about too. Is how a lot of rangers will be a firefighter. They've been a police officer. They've been in different roles in the military, and how they have these skills that are absolutely amazing, and how they can handle people too. Because look
at Dana Dirk.
Dana! Wow, she taught me how to be PC.
if you don't know how to handle people, you're not going to be a great ranger. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's a bullet that has been dodged here at the Great Smokies, because I have been up there and talked to rangers, and it's just like talking to a good friend. I mean, they have law enforcement, they wear a pistol, but it's never like that. That's never the attitude. It's how can we serve you? Can we help you with some information? That sort of thing. They're servants, and they really, really want it to be that way.
One of the very first encounter I had with a National Park Ranger was like you, Ralph. I was feeding animals in a national park in Yellowstone, and I was driving around in my little van, and I'd stop and I'd go out and I would feed whatever, whether it was bear or bison or deer or whatever, I would try to feed. And this ranger was following me, and he stopped me while I was trying to feed the buffalo, and he's like, "These are not tame. They're wild. You will get hurt. Now, I won't give you a ticket this time, but don't do it again." So I'm like, okay.
Sounds fair.
Yes, and then I drove around the bend. I didn't see him behind me, and then
You don't have to tell everything. You don't have to tell everything.
I saw some deer, and I thought, okay, well, I won't feed food because I was told not to. So I had a bottle of Tang, which is that orange powder stuff that you put in.
You're dating yourself, Nancy.
This isn't food. So I put it on my hand. I thought, cool, the deer's going to lick my hand. And I thought that would be the most greatest thing in the world that could happen. And that's exactly what happened after she reared up and tried to hit me with her front 2 feet. And the ranger pulled me back and he said, "Little lady, what do you think you're doing?" Like, I don't know. Anyway, so he said, "Here's your choice. You stop it, and I'm going to follow you for the rest of the day, which means I can't rescue someone who needs to be rescued, or I'm going to kick you out of the park, or you're going to jail. Which is it?" And I was like, okay, I won't do it anymore. But every so often for the rest of the day, I saw him pop out, and he's like waving, and I'm like, "Hi, no tag on my finger."
Failure leads to success.
See, but I learned. I was a little stubborn. I got it. Now I wouldn't think of it like feeding animals.
No,
at all.
And it's about maturity from the standpoint of knowledge. And well, what could that hurt? Well, it could not hurt only the animal; it could hurt you.
Yeah,
And
and now
both
when
of
I
those
think of
things
pain,
can happen.
yeah,
Mhm.
and then I think of what I was trying to feed the deer,
Mhm.
and realizing just how bad that was for the deer.
Yeah, that's it. I think even birds. I mean,
Mhm.
they now have signs in just about all the community parks that have water and ducks. Don't feed them bread. Don't because it swells up in their stomach. Number one, it's not even the kind of
Mhm.
bread that used to be decent now. It's
Mhm.
fake bread. It's fake food, and we're feeding it thinking we're doing the right thing and how cute it is when that's not what they are. And in some places, well, you can get pellets, which are better for them. But really,
Mhm.
it's about having this natural environment, so that the animals can eat what they're supposed to eat. That's it, And I think that's
Mhm.
why we do the tour now. It's about keeping those places there, and for people. That is, we've learned from studies and from park rangers and experts on sharks matter that they said that people go to a park, they don't know if they don't half the time care if it's a national park, a national forest, or a state park. They don't care. It's about the experience and why they go there. Parks mean something different to everybody. But they said basically for a healthy community, everybody needs a park within 15 minutes from their house for a healthy community, for people for
Oh,
accessibility.
I hadn't thought of that. I hadn't thought about that, but that's certainly the case here in East Tennessee where I live. We have a wonderful state park about 10 minutes away.
Mm.
And it is just you I want you ladies to see it if you
Okay.
can when you come, because it is really special, and it is there's a lot of folks that go to that park, but it does not look worn down because the rangers make sure that it's not abused.
And the more people that go to the parks, the more funding gets put into that. The more volunteer days come in that the public
Yes.
come and clean it up. There's more pride, and there's more pride in community. It's a healthy, happy community. And on that note, it's time for a champagne toast. So, Ralph, you're the guest on the show today. So, what are you toasting to today?
Well, I'm toasting gratitude.
Mm.
I am grateful, first of all, for being able to feel and experience this wonderful emotion of gratitude. I've never felt gratitude that I didn't enjoy it. I'm very grateful for my family. I'm happy to have good health and to have friends like you and Nancy.
Oh.
However, Priscilla, maybe not so much, but never
come
mind.
on now. She's crying
okay,
now.
I take it back. I take it back.
Okay.
I'm happy to be born and live in the United States of America, and I think I forget about that a lot. And of course, they've been trying to get rid of me for years, but I won't leave.
No, he's got shine in his backyard.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And deer and all kinds of beautiful, critters out there. What are you toasting to, Nancy? I love the gratitude. I toast to you on that.
It is National Popover Day, and I'm toasting to happy accidents because that is.
Beg your pardon?
Well, that is how the popover was invented. A cook was making muffins and put too much liquid in the recipe by mistake. A little happy accident there. And the extra moisture turned into steam, made the batter pop over onto the sides of the muffin tins, and that's how we got popover.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, are you sure?
Yes.
Beyond any reasonable doubt that's really the truth of why it happened.
Well, it could have been any kind of liquid. If you want to go there.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Now,
don't.
I see a little backing up here. I don't know what I'm doing, maybe, but
Wow. I'm toasting to this new series. We interviewed the filmmakers on Friday's show, Tom and Shasta Winston from Grizzly Creek Films.
Oh my gosh, it was good.
The Smithsonian Channel. It starts tonight, everybody. Every Sunday.
Watch it.
There's 4 episodes to Epic Yellowstone. It is the best footage I have ever seen
Amazing.
of a national park. I mean, this is
It's iconic.
mind-blowing what they are able to do and the camera gear they're using. I am totally mind-blown. We were able to see the first 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm. Is it
so
on a
good.
network or is
It's
it
on
just
Smithsonian Channel, the Smithsonian
Okay,
Channel.
no. Okay.
Everyone,
Great. I love it. I take
you
it.
are going to love it.
You're gonna love it.
Mind-blowing. So everyone, it's Epic Yellowstone. SmithsonianChannel.com. Go there. You'll find out how to watch it through your network. It comes on tonight, and tonight's first episode is Fire and Ice, and
So good.
it just shows Yellowstone in the winter, and you see the bison migrate. You see, you watch a bobcat hunt in the snow. You see wolves. I mean, this is absolutely.
It's amazing.
You've got to watch it. It is just, you will feel, talk about proud to live in this country, because this is just, it's phenomenal. And it just is very fascinating. If you want to hear our interview, go to nationalparktraveling.com, or it's on our Facebook, Parks and Travel Magazine Facebook page, the interview. It really is interesting how we have the photography gear now, where we do not need to be invasive of the animal species to get amazing footage. We do not need to get up to the animal and poke them in the face to get the photos you want.
Isn't that amazing what drones can do?
Yes.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
I couldn't agree more.
When it's in the hands of the right people.
Yeah, I've got a couple of friends that are they're making various kinds of movies and videos with these drones, and some of the shots they get are just terrific. And like you say, there's no invasion of the folks that are using it on the terra firma.
That's what I love about it. So I toast to that. Toast to you, Ralph.
Yes.
Second printing. We're waiting for the third. We know that's going to happen, and we appreciate you joining us on the show today and being part of our Conquer, Change, and Win story for the Love Your Parks tour. Again, everyone, keep up with Ralph. Go to conquerchangeandwin.com. And, of course, his book is on Amazon. Ralph is on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. And also go to blendradioandtv.com. He's got some great articles and past interviews for everyone to delve into, but most importantly, get the book. And, Ralph, we'll be chatting with you in our tour headquarters next in Yuma, Arizona, the historic Coronado Motor Hotel, March 27th, and you're going to teach us what the anatomy of a great change agent is. So we're looking forward to that.
Well, that's a fun thing, and it's exciting to me because change is my favorite subject. So I look forward to that, ladies.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we'll have made our big change, so the big move.
Well, folks are going to enjoy getting out on the road, and it takes for me it takes me about a week to form a new habit. And once you get that rhythm, I think it'll really be fun for you.
That's why we're going to play Building a Fire, because it's starting. We're getting that Kindle going, and then once it happens, that's it. And that's it. And this is it, because I think it really is until they put us in a home, or we decide to Thelma and Louise it or something. But we're going to have to be unable to move to not do this anymore. This is it forever, because we're not going through this stuff again. I ain't doing this again, buying furniture, getting rid of it. I'm done with that. I've done that too many times in my life. I do not care to ever own a piece of furniture again in my life. Do you hear me? I will not do that again.
Get out of that chair and sit on the floor.
I'm fine with that. I'll sit on the floor, but I am not going through this again. I'm not packing up boxes of books again.
I don't think, Nancy, she was talking to anybody but you.
And Priscilla, who's in her high chair.
Yes, well, of course.
Like I said, there is a place and a time for furniture, and when you're sitting on a piece of furniture, you probably shouldn't be mean to it.
Okay, I'll be very nice to these chairs. I love the furniture. It's very nice. All right. But, hotel furniture is really good, so we're looking forward to that. I look forward to sleeping in a different bed all the time. That's really fun. That's the best thing of the tour. You wake up in the morning.
I would not go around saying that.
I know. I'm a bed hopper, man. You don't know. You wake up in the morning and you don't know. You turn over. You don't know where you are or what. You
try not to bite your
arm if
off.
they're snoring, then I know Nancy and I are sharing the same room. That's how it goes. But thanks again so much, Ralph. Everyone, conquerchangeandwin.com. Also go to loveyourparkstour.com. We've got an interactive map on the homepage showing all the parks we've been to. We're up to about 60 as of today on that map. We have to get to our over 100. But we're moving. But we'll get it there. We're moving on it. We're going as fast as we can. And also in the travel directory section, we're putting up all the communities on the map, too. So every community that we visit, we've got, Tucson is on there. Of course, Yuma is on there. The Sequoia region is on there. All these parks and places are going to be on that map, too. So everyone, loveyourparkstour.com. You can follow Priscilla and her stylish blog from there, too. So here it is. Ralph, here's our song, Building a Fire, from Shelly King in Texas. Keep up with Shelly, ShellyKing.com. Thanks so much, Ralph.
Thanks, Ralph.
Thank you, ladies. It was fun.
It was always fun with you. Here it is.
Back in the woods, down in Tennessee, who knew the smoke would overtake me? That one little spark raged out of control. Now that passion burns down in my soul. I'm building a fire. It's starting to catch. Just use my desire and one very hot match. Now the flames are growing higher, spreading through a fast. I'm building a fire. It's starting to catch. I knew I was in trouble from the very start. You looked in my eyes, saw straight to my heart. Now the fever rises, oh mercy be. Every time you lay your eyes on me, I'm building a fire. Burn. I'm building a fire.